But in the face of all of this,
Yeah.
your party is having issues back and forth.
We are not having issues.
No.
We are just having some
Family,
minor
but where talks come in, right?
Yes, where talks come in, and it is laughable.
In your biological family, when you're having a family meeting, do talks come in there?
That's what I'm saying. That I'm wondering why now we have talks supervising elections.
So
there are some other issues too that I would like to raise. Some people spoke and said in Ogun State there had always been a consensus that at the time of Oshoba there was consensus. May I tell you that that is not the truth. Twice that Oshoba came into government, he went for primaries.
Okay.
I just want to get some of these things clear.
What do you think will be the solution to all these issues, rancor within your party family? How do you get it sorted?
We must learn to go by the rules. Know your duty. When I was deputy governor, I had no power. The governor had the power. Some people will come and meet me. Why are you taking this? But I had no power. The power to conduct primaries is left with the National Working Committee, and nobody can seize it. He will be shacking in his duty if you allow governors to take over. He can even be removed. I'm talking of Kwame Doshiomhole. He was not sworn in for governors to be dictated to, or senators to dictate to him, or anybody to dictate to.
Did he impose candidates in this election?
There's nothing to prove it. There's nothing to show that he imposed candidates. He said anybody who has any interest should come and collect forms. People collected forms. The moment there is more than one person collecting a form, that means there's no consensus.
So if the National Working Committee says something is okay and a court judgment says otherwise?
Yeah, a court judgment.
What happens?
A court judgment. A court judgment can reverse a decision that is
because I know a particular state where the National Working Committee...
I don't think we need to flog it.
No, we're not. I'm coming. It's a particular state has, in a particular state, permit me not to say the state, the court has recognized one faction, but the National Working Committee recognizes another leadership in that place. So how does that work?
When the court speaks, that's finality.
So that means because as it speaks now, the National Working Committee is working with that other faction, not the one recognized by the court. Does that say that the National Working Committee is doing contrary to the laws of the land? Because it wants to follow your constitution. It's not a hypothesis. You want me to call the name of the state?
No, I don't think, because I'm
okay, so why would the National Working Committee of your party have that kind of situation? Because it might arise in your state. These are another state. Why would the National Committee of the party have that kind of decision by a court of competent jurisdiction and then still stick by its own decision?
No, I don't. I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of that. I'm not aware of any injunction barring the National Working Committee from conducting primaries. All of us, we feel good that the primaries are being conducted, but we now dispute it because everybody wants to be overbearing.
So what's next for your party now?
What's next for our party is to smoothen edges.
Is that what the governor is doing in Abuja?
The governor went to Abuja. He has always been going to Abuja. He has always been going to Abuja. And he continue to go to Abuja.
No, he didn't go alone. He went with some other governors who also had primaries with problems in their states.
Until they come out and say this is what we went to speak on. Governors, it could be any other issue extraneous to this.
So they're not going to smoothen edges there in Abuja?
To smoothen edges, you don't have to go to the Aso Rock. You have to go to the National Working Committee of the party. That is the head of everything.
What do you make of these allegations to your camp by the other camp that there seems to be a script that is being played out from the national level at the NWC? As a matter of fact, they specifically said that the chairman of the party is playing out the script in Ogun State. How do you respond to that?
Yeah, I mean, it is shocking to me that such allegations can be made because it's not in the interest of the party. But I can't see any script being played out. They told everybody when to come and collect, when to meet, and it's not hidden. We had to meet them. We met all these people also in the governor's built metros. That was where they came. There was shooting and there was initial disorganization of events. Then they met another day. So I can see a script being played out.
How then do you justify the fact that even when those NWC members came, they were housed in a hotel by even the government? Is that right?
I don't know. I was not interested in all those. I was just busy in my local because I'm also an aspirant for the Senate. So that took my time. But
So
over time, many a times when they come like that, they will pay visit to leaders of the parties. First the governor, the other leaders like Chief Oshoba and a host of others if they know.
were there any
typical-
financial inducements? Because your opposite party is saying that there are financial inducement on the NWC.
I am surprised. Those are terrible allegations and cannot be backed. No party member should ever use that type of word.
They say they have proof.
Let them prove it. That's outside my purview.
Would you accept it if it is tenable in court and they are able to show it in court that there were financial transactions that happened?
And those financial
with
transactions changed the conduct of election, changed people's mind at my word.
Let me read this. Article 20 of your party's constitution talks about elections and appointments. Article
2020 what?
24.
That's right.
24.4.
That's right.
Without prejudice to Article 22 and 3 of this Constitution, the National Working Committee shall, subject to the approval of a National Executive Committee, make rules and regulations for the nomination of candidates through primary elections.
Yes.
All such rules, regulations, and guidelines shall take into consideration and uphold the principle of federal character,
That's right.
gender balance,
That's right.
geopolitical spread,
That's right.
and rotation of officers.
That's right.
So as much as possible ensure balance within the constituency covered.
Yes.
The governor was talking about a particular area of Ogun State that should be considered in this.
Yes.
You are not happy about that?
It's not a question of being happy.
You said in your area we have contestants
Yeah, for
as well.
example, I will explain.
Why did the governor say, before you explain your own side, why do you think the governor was talking about a certain area of the state being considered for this position?
You see, what we are saying is that the governor is not competent to speak on it because it is the governor that is using the time of the Yewa people. And I need to analyze it so that you can know. Ogun State is a composition of two provinces. The Ijebu province. And in Ijebu province, you have Ijebu division, you have Remo division. In Egba province, you have Egba division and Egbado province. It is the Egbado that changed to Yewa. The first governor was Chibiso Namajo from our own area. After that came Oshoba. After that came Bengadania, Remo. So after that, actually, it should be a Yewa person. So what we are saying is that the governor actually is using the time of Yewa. And we don't want that to jeopardize our own in Ogun.
So is the time of the Yewa up?
No. Please understand what I'm trying to say. We have 4 divisions. The workings in government is always on 4 divisions. We have 4 ruling first-class obas. When you are doing anything in one division, you must do it in the other 3 divisions. That's the standard practice in Ogun. So the first person to be the governor, Chibiso Namajo Ijebu from our own area, followed by the Oshoba. The next person came, that means after the provinces have utilized the first round, then it came back to us. And we took a Remo person, which is Bengadania. These things are not, what the leaders do is to fine-tune it behind the scene. It's not the one that you go to the public and say, this is the sense of people.
So in other words, is the governor from Yewa?
No, what I'm saying
He's
is
not from Yewa.
the present governor, Senator Ibikunle Abosu, is from Egba. Chief Oshoba had served. So when it came to the time, this last one, it should actually be somebody from Yewa who should be in it.
Okay, so is he not now trying to rectify?
He cannot rectify to our own disadvantage. He cannot rectify
when you're
to our own disadvantage.
when you're talking about advantage or disadvantage, I read from your constitution what ought to be. And he's saying we need to ensure that this is rectified, where there was an error, whether inadvertently or whatever, but there's an error and he wants to rectify that.
There are two issues. If he wants to rectify, we the Jebus must be there. And that was the issue I raised in this presence. Said, Mr. Governor, we don't want to discuss these issues in the public. Can we move somewhere outside these premises to discuss all issues? So that even if we are not giving us what we want, we will bargain to get something else. Because we Jebus are not pleased with the way things are in his government.
Then it would seem to suggest that you're not working in accordance to your constitution.
No, you see, the constitution says there must be a spread. If there's going to be a spread, it is for all leaders to sit down, not somebody to ram it.
Did you say if? You have a document.
No, that's what I'm saying. If it's going to work, all leaders must sit.
Okay.
You cannot discuss Ijebu issue behind all Ijebus.
No, I thought everything should be predicated on the
It
Constitution.
should be predicated, but I've told you how we work in Ogun.
You don't work with the Constitution.
It is still the Constitution.
Or you just give and take on it.
There should be some fine tuning. For example, this thing has happened sometimes back. I mean, whether you like it or not, Nigeria is an amalgamation of two protectorates, the southern and the northern. Do you think, if now that it's in the north, after Buhari must have done the second term, another person in the north will say, we are now going to northeast. Do you think the southern side would accept? That's exactly that is the case in Ogun. We know what it is to be fair, and we want to be fair to everybody. But while we are saying we want to be fair, people also should be fair to us. Because at the end of the day, everybody is going back to his different areas. We don't want to be caned when we return to Ijebu.
So you're professing a zonal formula?
No, we have always had a zonal formula, but it is the leaders that manipulate it in a fine way without even making it known to the public. So these Yewas at the last election, all of them, they supported the Yewa person. But he came in and he was able to manipulate and he won. Yes, he won. But what we are saying as Ijebus and Remos is that he shouldn't go to the public without first discussing with us.
Oh, if he had come to you, then this would have been a different situation.
It could be. We might have agreed. But not that when somebody will go and ridicule us outside and will telling us within that he will take care of us. Because we are talking about politics. At the end of the day, I want to go back home and ride on the horse.
You and your people feel marginalized?
We feel very bad about it. It's not that marginalized. I have been a leader in Ogun State for so long. My father served in Ogun State as deputy majority leader. And I know how government works. At the time of Chief Olabisi Onabanjo, Chief Olabisi Onabanjo was the governor. His deputy was from Egba. His SSG was from Yewa. His commissioner for works was from Egba. In this government, it's not like that.